Namaskar. Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to this third session of the understanding of Shiv Mahim Stotra. We start with our gratitude towards the Lord, with whose grace everything is possible. We pray and respect this Guru Shishya Parampara through which this knowledge is preserved, transmitted so as to reach us. I pay my respects to my Guruji, Pujya Guruma, with whose grace I am able to learn the scriptures and I am able to share this understanding with you. We start with a prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So in the second session, the last shloka, we saw this shloka of the Shiva Bhakti of Lord Vishnu. Riste sahastram kamala balimadhaya padayo yadeko ne tasmin nijamudahara netra kamalam gato bhaktyudrekaha parinatimasau chakravapushah Trayanam rakshayai tripurahara jagati jagatam. So we saw this story that Lord Vishnu used to worship Lord Shiva daily with 1000 lotuses with a lot of faith and devotion. One day what happened was that there was a shortage of one lotus, and it is said that Shiva had disappeared this lotus, and Vishnuji then thought that he will surrender one of his eyes, because his eyes are also called like lotus eyes, Kamala Netra, Kamala Nayanam he is called, and that's why he removed one of his eyes and surrendered it to the Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was very pleased with this bhakti of Lord Vishnu, and he bestowed Lord Vishnu with the Sudarshana Chakra, and this Sudarshana Chakra helps to protect all the three worlds during the Srushti Kal, during the maintenance or the sustenance of the universe. Lord Vishnu having a lot of energy to protect this universe with this Sudarshan Chakra. So this essentially shows that how Bhagwan Shiva is the bestower of all the, the power, the Shakti of this running the universe, and he does good to people to everyone who has a lot of faith and devotion in him. All his bhaktas, all his devotees, even Lord Vishnu, who was his great devotee, because this is a Shiv Purana. It is said that Lord Vishnu is the devotee of Lord Shiva. In Vishnu Purana, Lord Shiva is the devotee of Lord Vishnu. They are both one and the same. Just their responsibility is different. Their Saguna Sakar Swarup is different. Otherwise, by their Nirguna Swarupa, they are one and the same. So let us go to the next shloka. And in the next shloka, it is very evidently, clearly mentioned by Pushpadantaji Maharaj that Bhagwan Shiva is the Karma Phala Data, is the bestower of the fruits of action, of whatever we do the actions, but the outcome, the results, the fruits of the actions are given by the Lord with his Karma Phala system, his Niyama, the rules that he has designed. Kratau sukte jagra tvamasi phala yoge kratumatam Vakarma pratvastam phalati purusharathanamrute atastvam samprekshya kratushu phaladana pratibhuvam Shrutau shraddham badhva dradha parikara karma sujana. So Kratumatam is the person who is doing all the actions. Krato supte. So whenever the action gets over, Tvam jagrata asi, phala yoge. You are always awake. You are always taking note of this. You are the sakshi to all the karma, and you are the person who are the Ishwar who gives the phala yoga, the fruits of the action to person who does the action. Kratumatam is a person who is doing this action. So Bhagwan is a karmadhyaksha. One of the ways how this is described is Bhagwan is also antaryami. He sits inside Hriday Desh mein baitkar, inside our hearts, inside our mind, inside our chitta, and from there he is a sakshi. Nothing hides from the Lord. Whatever we do, Even when nobody else is seeing, we also commonly say that God is seeing us, He's seeing all this action, and He will give the adequate fruits of our action. So this is the colloquial term that we used, and this is ingrained in our philosophy, in our culture, ancient culture, that Bhagwan takes note of everything. So that is what Pushpadantaji Maharaj is saying here. Karma pradvastam Purusha Aradhanam Amrute Falati. After the action is over or action is destroyed, Pradvastam, Purusha Aradhanam. Without the worship of the Lord, Amrute Falati, how can the results be obtained? So that shows that Bhagwan, you are the one who gives these results or the fruits of the action. You are the Karma Phala Data. Atah Twam Sampreksha Kratushu Phaladana Pratibhuvam. You are also the guarantor, you are the Sakshi, you are the giver of the fruits of action. Phaladana, Karma Phala. Shrutau Shraddham Badva, Dhrada Parikara Karma Sujana. So whenever people are inspired to do action, only because of this Shrutau, Shruti means the way the Shastra, where all this karma, Pratipadan is there, karma are described, how we should do them, how the yagna should be done. So people themselves, they inspired to do this action, this kind of karma, yagna karma, and all these different kinds of karma that we do every day. People drive. People do this because they also have faith in the scriptures. They have the faith in this understanding that Bhagwan is the karma phala data. Bhagwan is the karma dhyaksha. Nothing can be hidden from the Lord. Bhagwan will give the adequate fruits of action. Bhagwan, this system is a very fair system, and I may not get it immediately. I may get it later on in this birth, or maybe even in the next birth. But this faith makes the people to perform their actions, to perform their work in the best possible way. In the next shloka, Bhagwan, Shri Pushpadantaji Maharaj mentions how Karma Phala Data Prabhu even gives some punishment to people who do not do their karma with utmost faith in the Lord. And this punishment was given to none other than Daksha Prajapati, who happens to be the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. So let us recite the shloka first. Priya Daksho Daksha Kratupatiradishasthanubhrutam Rushinamatvityam Sharanadasadasya Suraganaha Kratubranshastvattaha Kratuphala Vyasaninaha Dhruvam kartum shraddha viduramabhicharaya himakhaha. So in this shloka, Kriya Daksha. Daksha means very skillful, clever. Daksha Prajapati, who was very skillful in doing his actions, in doing his yagnas, he was himself Kratupadi Adhishasta Anubhrutam. He was himself the yajman in the yagna that he was doing. And that yagna was called Daksha Yagna, done by Daksha Prajapati, who happened to be the father-in-law of Lord Shiva, father of Sati. And all the Rishis, Rishinam Artvijyam. Artvijyam means they were all the Yajmana Rishis, were the masters of the sacrifice. And all the Suragana, all the groups of all the Devtas were Sadasya, they were the guests in this yagna. It was a very big yagna. And Bhagwan Shiva, who is the Kratuphala Vidhana Vyasinaha, who is always obsessed with giving the adequate fruits of action. Kratu Bhanshas Branshas Tatvata. So even then you destroyed this yagna. Bhagwan ne yagna ka Bransha kiya, ya to yagna dvansa kar diya. That means he destroyed this yagna. And Dhruvam Kartum Shraddha Viduram Abhicharaya Himakhaha. Because any yagna which is done without the faith in the Lord leads to the destruction of the host, because the yajman, not only the yagna but even the host gets destroyed, and everything, all the karma, all the yagna should be done with utmost faith in the Lord. That is what Pushpadantaji Maharaj is trying to say here. So let us understand this story of the Daksha Prajapati's yagna. What happened? He was organizing this Daksha yagna, but he did not invite Shiva and Sati. And while they were sitting on Mount Kailasha, Sati saw that a lot of other planes were going to all the devatas were going to this yagna, and so she also had a desire that I should go to my father's yagna. Such a big auspicious yagna is being performed by my father. So she asked Shiva that let us both go. Shiva said we are not invited, so we should not go. But Sati becomes very insistent. She does the jidda, and she wants that no, I want to go. So Shiva allows Sati to go to this yagna. So Sati, when she went and saw in the courtroom that there was no place for Shiva, and this was a disrespect for the Mahadev, the Shiva, and Sati was very, very upset, and she, in this this krodh, in this anger, she just, with her yoga maya shakti, she was a Shakti Swarupa, so she burnt her body, she immolated her body, and she controlled her breath and just stopped her breath. So when Shiva heard this, he was extremely angry. He got into his Rudra Swarupa, and along with his Shiva Gana, all his Bhuta Pishacha, all the Shiva Gana, he went to this Daksha Yagna and he destroyed this Yagna. And then he went to Daksha Prajapati and was very unhappy, very angry, and in this Rudra Swarupa anger, he chopped off the head of Daksha Prajapati, his father-in-law, and he took the body of the Sati. He was very, very upset to see Sati in this way, whose body was immolated, burnt. He carried Sati on his shoulder, and then he roamed around in the Brahmanda for many, many years. And then Devtas all, they prayed to Shiva that you must please try to complete this Yagna, has been incomplete, and which is not good for the Vedic Parampara, and that's why he goes back to this Yagna site, he rejuvenates Daksha, completes the Yagna, and he replaces his head, Daksha's head, with a goat face, a bakra ka muh unka sar par laga diya, and that is how the story is. And Sati's body, then Bhagwan prays, Lord Vishnu prays to him that please leave this body, the entire world is getting fearful because you're carrying the body of your slain wife on your body, and that's why this was made into 64 pieces, and they were all spread across in different places, where currently the 64 Shakti Peeth of Shakti Sati or Parvati ji is the Sati is there. The next shloka also Bhagwan Shiva, how he gives punishment to even Devtas if they don't, their intentions are not good. It is mentioned, Rajanatham Natha Prasabhamiktikam Swam Duhitaram Gatam Rohit Bhutam Riramayishumrushasya Vapusha Dhanushpaneryatam Divamapi Sapatra Krutamamum Prasantam Tethyapi Tyajati Namrukavyatharabasaha. So in this there is the story of Brahmaji, who once was attracted fatally with his daughter, and he went after his daughter, and then she out of shame converted herself into a deer form, and Brahmaji also converted himself into a deer form and went following her into the forest. Seeing this, Lord Shiva, he also assumed the form of a hunter, and then he also followed the deer Brahmaji with the bows and arrows in his hand. And these arrows are even today following Brahmaji as Adra Nakshatra. And this is a story that goes where it suggests that even Lord Brahma, they are also not exempt from their karma phala if they do not perform their karma properly. So this system is fair for everyone. It is not an unjust system. That is what Lord Pushpadantaji Maharaj is trying to say, and Lord Shiva is trying to show here with his Leela. The next shloka describes the Ardhanareshwar Swarupa of Lord Shiva, how he gives that he becomes half of Stri and half of Purusha. Swalavanya Shansa Druta Dhanusha Mahyaya Trunavat Pura Plushtam Drashtva Puramathana Pushpa Yudhamapi Yadistrainam Devi Yamanirata Dehata Gatana Avaiti Twam Badva Tvavata Varada Mukha Yuvatayaha. So in this, there are two salutations to Lord Shiva. Puramathana, one who is destroyer of the Tripura, and Varada. Varada is the giver of all the Vardhana, boons. Swalavanya. Lavanya means beauty, natural beauty. So Swalavanya means having faith in the beauty of Parvati. Dhruta Dhanusha Mahyaya Pushpa Yudam. Kamadev uses his bow and flowery arrow. Kamadev thought that he can control Lord Shiva, get him into his Vasha by his Kama. And that is the story that we saw in the last time, how he tried to, make Shiva, who was in Pirans in the Himalayas, try to attract him to Parvati. And when Shiva opened his eyes and saw Kamadeva, he burnt Kamadeva into ashes. And Parvati ji saw this with her own eyes, how Strunavata, straw-like Kamadeva, was burnt into ashes by Lord Shiva while he opened his third eye, which normally he never does for destruction of none of the Tarakasur, Banasur or Bhasmasur. He never opened his third eye. Only for burning the Kamadeva he had to open his third eye. Otherwise, Bhagavan Shiva is very, very Sanyami. He does not use his Shaktis or his powers indiscriminately, uses with a lot of Sanyama. And then Pushpadantarji Maharaj says that if Devi Parvati ji was given half place in your body, Deharat Gatana, half place means Ardhangana, Ardhanareshwar Swarupa. And he feels that if this was due to an attraction for her own beauty, Parvati ji thought that this is an attraction of Lord Shiva to a woman. Avaiti Tavamadha, Vata Pugdha Yuvataha. Really, one can only say that women are full of emotions. So this is the story of Ardhanareshwara, this Katha, where Kamdevi is burnt to ashes due to Shiva's anger. And then at the same time, Parvati ji faints, and Himavan, who is father of Parvati ji, who is the Himalayas, himself takes her to the Himalayas. When Parvati ji regains her consciousness, she takes a vow to please Shiva, and she starts doing intense penance initially at home. And then Shiva is not pleased, so Parvati ji decides to go to the forest to do this penance, and her mother Mena refuses her and says, "Oh Maga, don't go. Parvati, oh Maga, don't go." And from there she got her name Uma. That is one of her names of Parvati ji. And she goes to the forest and does intense penance in the forest. She leaves all the food, even fruits and even leaves. And that's why she's also called Aparna, because she does not consume even leaves. This was intense penance that she does. And finally, after many years of such intense penance, Shiva gets pleased. He comes and meets Parvati ji and accepts Parvati ji as his half body. And that is how Shiva assumed this form of Ardhanareshwar. That is one of the forms of Shiva. And then they have a happy married life. Kartikeya is born, and according to that boon given to Indra, Tarakasur dies at the hands of Kartikeya. And that is how this demon Tarakasur dies. So this is the Katha. And from there also it is said that the married life of Shiva and Parvati, Shiva Shakti, is considered like an ideal couple. And that's why to get a husband like Shiva, this Gauri Vrata. Gauri is also one of the names of Parvati. So this Gauri Vrata or Gauro is also done for this for getting an ideal husband like Shiva. In the next shloka suggests that though Bhagwan from outside Shiva looks very inauspicious, but in reality he is the most Mangala Swarupa, auspicious. Smashaneshva krida smarahara pishacha sahacharaha chita bhasma lepaha sragapindru karoti parikaraha amangalyam shilam tava bhavatu namaiva makhilam Tathapi smartrunam varada paramam mangalamasi. So in this shloka, Bhagavan is saluted as Smarahara, destroyer of the Kamadeva, and Varada, giver of the boons or Vardana. So Bhagavan does Smashana Krida. Smashana Krida means he plays in the crematorium, that is his playground, and along with his friends who are Bhuta, Pishacha, Sahachara, all his friends who are the ghosts and the demons. And he applies Chita Bhasma Lepa. On all his body he applies Chita Bhasma. Chita Bhasma means the ashes of the dead bodies. That is what he applies as the Lepa, as a powder on all his entire body. And he applies also Tripunda Tilak of 3 Bhasma Lepa, which is a horizontal Tilaka. Sragapi Nrukaroti Parikara, and he also wears a garland of skulls, of human skulls, which have been destroyed in the crematorium. So this is the the makeup of Lord Shiva. So all these seems very, very inauspicious. Ashes, applying skulls, wearing skulls, having Naga, snakes around him, playing with ghosts and demons. All this is very, very inauspicious. But this is only Nam Eva Akhilam. It is all Nama Matra. So the entire Srushti, the Nama, Rupatmaka Jagat, according to Vedanta Siddhanta, is all Nama Matra. That is one of the meanings of this shloka. The other meaning is that Tatha Smartrunam Nama Eva Paramam Mangalamasi. The chanting of your name, your Nama Smarana, is the most auspicious. Though you wear everything which is amangala, which is inauspicious, however, your nama matra, just speaking or chanting your name itself, is the most auspicious kalyanakari for the jiva. So some of the message that comes out from this Smashana Krida, what is the understanding we can take in our life? Smashana Krida, Smashana is a place where there is death and everybody fears death. But Bhagavan Lord Shiva has no fear of death, and that's why he lives in the Smashan and does Smashana Krida. And that's why he's also called Mrutyunjaya Bhagavan, because he has no fear of death. He's paripurna with the knowledge of his Atma Swarupa. He's a Shiva Tattva. And this understanding or this winning or this attaining fearlessness over death is only possible by knowing my real Atma Swarupa. Vedanta says that my Atma Swarupa is Ajara, Amara, na Jayate, na Mriyate, va Kadachita. And Jiva himself, Aham Brahmasmi, is equivalent to Shiva. Shiva Tattva, Jiva and Shiva, there is no difference when we speak of the Atma or the Tattva, Tattvic Swarupa, the original self or the true self in essence. There is no difference. So only if we understand this, then we can fear over or win over the death. Bhuta Preta as friends of Shiva. And this involves or this signifies controlling our Asuri Vritti. We all have Daivi Sampatti and Asuri Sampatti in our head. They both are in constant fight. Some of the ethical things that I want to do, some of the things I should do, but some of the things that I cannot do and I'm still not able to do. So these constant friction between the Asuri and the Daivi Sampatti, how we can control this Asuri Sampatti. And I am the master of my emotions. Bhuta Preta are considered to be the Rajas and the Tamasa part guna of our, and how I can, from there I have to go more towards Sattva guna, and then finally Nistray Gunyo Bhavarjuna, we have to transcend all the three gunas and ultimately understand our real Atma Swarupa, which is Nirguna, which is devoid of all the gunas and attributes. So I do understand that I am the master of my emotions. I am not the slave of my emotions. I am the Drashta. I am the Sakshi of all my emotions, even my anger, jealousy, krodha, kama, desires, all these that comes into my mind. I am the Drashta. I have to get detached from these emotions, and that I can control them, try to understand them and modulate them. Chita Bhasma Lepa. Body is burned to ashes. That is the ultimate goal of the human body. Ultimately, that is where it goes to. And then it becomes very lightweight. And also the Sragapi Nukaroti means wearing the skulls on as a garland. And that shows that Bhagavan says that, we should not have too much of pride in our head. We should surrender. This is what is the message from this Bhagavan's Swarupa. And after all, Bhagavan, even though he wears everything Amangala, but he is in his Adhisthana Atma Swarupa, where there is acceptance of everything. There are no prejudices, there are no labels like this is good, this is not good, you should not wear skull bones, you should not apply ashes. So this is bad and this is good. This kind of bheda, buddhi, is not there when Bhagavan is sthit in his Atma Swarupa. So that is the understanding. In the next sloka, how this Nirgun Tattva is realized by the experience, the self-experience of the yogis. It is described, Mana Pratyak Chitte Savidham Abhidhayat Marutaha Prahashyadro Manaha Pramada Salilot Sangati Dashaha Yadalokyaradam Rada Ivanimachya Mrutamaye Tadhatyantastatvam Kimapi Yaminastat Kila Bhavan. So in this sloka, the Nirguna Tattva of the Lord is described how Yaminaha, how those yogis who have complete control over their self, over their mind, over their senses, Indriya Sanyam, their Prana Sanyam, they have achieved by their Pranayama, over their intellect, they have the complete control over their self through a very strong, strict, disciplined yoga sadhana. How they Manah Pratyak Chitte Avidhaya, they withdraw their mind from their outside objects and then they turn inwards towards their self, towards their Atma Swarupa. And this is done savidam. It is done with the Vidhi Purvaka. It is done by rituals as it is described in our scriptures. And this is the dhyana sadhana that yogi, Purusha, yogi people do. Atta Marutaha. They also have Marutaha means Vayu, Prana. They also have a control over their Prana by breath control, by Pranayama. Prahashyadromana. And when they see this vision, when they see this Atma Tattva, what happens to them that is described, they are overjoyed with bliss. They are filled with Roman, the excitement, they have goosebumps. Oh wow, is this the Tattva that we have been listening to all throughout? Pramada Salilot Sangati Dasha, their eyes are filled with tears of joy. That is what happens. And having been enlightened with this vision, Yat Alokya, Ahladam Antah Dadati, they achieve internal bliss in their own self. It is Paramananda. This bliss is not dependent on outside. Just like, when we have a swapna, we are not dependent on anything outside. Similarly, here even in Jagrat Avastha, they have an eternal bliss without any objects. But this bliss is because of their own Paramananda, because they have known this, their inner self. Radha iva nimajya amrutamaya, as if this bliss is something like they had a dip in the lake of nectar, which is a very quiet, very still, very silent, very, very calm, serene. And this is what is the condition of those yogis when they realize this Atma Tattva, which is the Nirguna Tattva. And this is how it cannot be described by words. Shastra is a pramana. Tarka, logic, according to Shastra, as we can understand this Tattva. But the best way to understand this Tattva is the self-anubhuti, self-experience. And these yogi Purusha have already done this experience, and that's why this is the joy that they have by realizing this Atma Tattva. And finally, it says that Tat Tattvam Kimapi Tat Kila Bhavan. That Tattva, who else can this Tattva be? You are alone, Bhagavan Shiva. You are alone this Tattva. You are this Purna Tattva. You are this Paripurna Shiva Tattva. And this is none other than you. That is what finally this shloka comes to an end with. The next shloka, Pushpadanta Maharaj says that how God is all pervading, is everywhere, Sarvatra. Tvamarkastvam somastvamasi pavanastvam hutavaha Tvamapastvam yoma tvamudharina ratma tvamiti cha Parichinnam tvai parinata vipratugiram Naviknastatstatvam vayamiha tudyatvam nabhavasi. So in this shloka, the Saguna Swarupa of the Bhagavana is described by Pushpadantaji Maharaj, how you can see the Lord in this universe. Tvam Arka, Tvam Somaha, you are the sun and you are the moon. Tvam Asi Pavana, you are the wind. Tvam Hutavaha, you are the fire. Tvam Apaha, you are the water. Tvam Vyoma, you are the sky. Tvam Dharanihi, you are the earth. Atma Tvam Iticha, and you are the Atman. So this shows the Ashtamurti of the Lord, how in this entire world, Pancha Mahabhuta plus sun, moon and the Atma, these are the 8 Swarupa, Ashtamurti of the Lord. Even in Gita Ji, Bhagavan describes this Vishwa Darshana, Vishwarupa Darshana, that is the Ashtamurti of the Lord. And the same Ashtamurti is described in Dakshinamurti Stotraha also. Parichinnam evam. So people who say this make you quite limited. They make you parichinna, they make you limited. They say, oh, you are the sun, and they worship the sun. They say you are the Atma, and they think that you are the Atma. So they actually divide you into pieces. That is what Pushpadantaji Maharaj says, Navigna Tattvam. But we really don't know, don't understand you in your entire reality, O Lord Shiva. Vayam ihatu yatvam na bhavasi. In our opinion, Vayam iha, you are everywhere in this universe. Where you cannot be? You cannot be not anywhere. You are everywhere. You are Sarvatra. You are everywhere. Khan khan mein Shankar hai, jaise hum bolte hain, kshan kshan mein Shiva hai. And Sarvatra, we have to see this Shiva Tattva, Darshana of the Lord Shiva or Lord everywhere. And that's what Pushpadantaji Maharaj says here, that people try to break you into one different things, but there is no place in this universe where you are not there. You are everywhere. The next shloka talks about the Mahima of Omkar, which is the Ekakshari Naam of the Lord, one name of the Lord, which depicts the entire Saguna and the Nirguna Swarupa of the Lord. Traim Tistro Vrutti Stribhuvanamato Trinapi Suran Akaradhyai Varnai Stribhirabhitadhatirna Vikruti तुरीयं ते धाम ध्वनिभिरवरुन्धानमणभुभिः समस्तव्यस्तं त्वां शरणद गृणात्योमिति पदम्. So in this, the salutation to Lord Shiva is a Sharanada, who is a protector, giving Sharana, surrendering. When anybody surrenders, he gives protection to everyone. Samasta Vyastam. Samastam and Vyasta means your eternal, Samasta Swarupa, which is everywhere eternal, the Nirguna Swarupa of the Lord Shiva, the Shiva Tattva. And Vyastam. Vyastam means which is Vyapa, which is like Ashtamurti of the Lord, the Saguna Swarupa, expansive, all expansive Swarupa in the universe. Tvam Grunati Om iti padam. This is indicated by the Omkar, the three matras of the Omkar, the A, U and the Ma matra of the Omkar. So it says that the entire Nirguna as well as the Saguna Swarup is indicated by Omkar. Traim, three Vedas, the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda and the Sam Veda. Tisra Vruttihi, our three states of consciousness. When we are awake during the daytime, which is the Jagrat Avastha, when we are dreaming in the sleep time, this is the Swapna Avastha, and when we are in the deep sleep, it's also called the Shushupti Avastha, which is on an individual basis, the Vyashti level, which are the three states, but Tribhuvanam, three lokas, the Bhuhu, Bhuvaha and Swaha, the world, the sky and the Swarga, on the universal basis, the Samashti level, Atatrin, Apisuran, and the three Devas, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, who also are one and the same, but they have different functions. Brahma is a creator, Vishnu is a sustainer, and Mahesh is the destroyer of the universe. Akaraihi, Adi Varnaihi, all these shapes and colors, which all these forms, which forms the Saguna Sakara Swarupa of the Lord. Tribrihi, all these three states, the three Vedas, the three Lokas, the three Devas, the three states, everything, it says, and all its modification, the entire Srushti, Sansara, everything arises from the three notes of Omkara, A, U and Ma. And that is what our Shastra tells us, that everything comes from these three matras. And then Bhagavan talks about the Turiya Avastha, the fourth Avastha, the Chaturtha Swarupa. Turiyam te dhama, the Turiya Avastha, which is also called Turiya Avastha, which is the Chaturtha Avastha, the Chaturiya Avastha, Swarupa of the Lord, which is above all these three guna Avastha, beyond this three guna Avastha, which is itself the Atma Swarupa. It is not that it is 1, 2, 3 and this is the fourth Avastha, but this fourth Avastha, it encompasses all the previous three Avasthas, all the three, the awake, dream and the sleep state, all the three Lokas, all the three Devas, all the three Vedas, everything is encompassed with this Turiya Avastha, because it is the Atma Swarupa of our own, and which is denoted or signified by a matra. It is beyond the matra, all the three matras of Omkar, beyond that. Dhvanibihi avarundhanam anubihi, it is depicted by that Dhvanibihi avarundhan, that silence after the Om. And anubihi, it is very, very subtle. This Nirguna Avastha is very subtle. It cannot be described in words. And that is what this shloka says. The next shloka, Pushpadantaji Maharaj now describes the 8 names of Lord Shiva as described in the Rudri and our other scriptures. Bhavah Sharvo Rudraha Pashupati Ratograh Saha Mahan Tatha Bhimeshanam Vitiyadabhidhanashtakamidam Amushmin Pratyekam Pravicharati Deva Shrutirapi Priyayasmai Dhyamne Pranihita Namasyosmi Bhavate. So here the 8 names of Lord Shiva is described Bhavaha. So this shows that Bhava means Udbhava or Bhavati, as it is a creator, or it is the cause of the creation, and it signifies the Jalamurti of the Lord. Sharvaha. Sharvaha is the Swarupa of the Lord which robs all the pain, ignorance, which is the Prithvi Swarupa, where there is a Sukha Swarupa, where it gives the Sukha. Rudra Swarupa is the destroyer of everything, which gives rest to all the Jiva at the Pralaya Kala, and this is determined or denoted by the Agni Murti of the Lord. Pashupatihi. Pashuhu means, Pashu are the, are all those animals who think that they are bound. So that is the Jivas are also called Pashu, and all the animals are also called Pashu. And Bhagavan is Pashupati, who is the Lord of all these Jivas who think that they are bound, and that is the Atma Swarupa of the Lord. Ugra. Ugra is Bhagavan Swarupa, which inspires all the motion in the universe, how the sun, moon, all the planets, everything works, everything keeps going round and round. That's a Vayu Murti of the Lord, Samahan, and which is the Lord of all the Lords, Mahadeva Swarupa, the Chandra Swarupa of the Lord, Bhimaha. Bhima means very vast, all-pervading. Akasha is the Murti Swarupa of this name, and Ishana. Ishana is like the sun who nurtures everyone, Surya Murti. And so this is how these 8 names of the Lord signifies the Ashtamurti of the Lord with the Panch Mahabhuta, Surya, Chandra and Atma. All these Ashtamurti is determined by these 8 names of the Lord according to his different roles and responsibilities. And then it says, Iti yat abhidhana ashtakam idam. These are your 8 names, O Lord Shiva. Amushmin pratyekam deva shrutirapi pravicharati. All these names, Vedas are always very eager to describe them. Devas are always very eager to listen to them. And in this, that is, you are so priyaya yasmai. You are so dear to me, Lord Shiva, that I bow down to you. Namasya asmi bhavati. I bow down to you. That is, now Pushpadantaji Maharaj is coming to the end of the Shiva Mahim Stotra, and is now, after saying so many, doing such a stuti, he is now saying namaskara to Lord Shiva. He doesn't find any words now, so he worships or bows down to different swarup of the Lord. In the next shloka he says namaskara to all these different swarup of the Lord, where he describes this nirguna swarupa. Again, how it describes Namo nedishtaya priyadavadavishtaya cha namaha Namakshodishtaya smarahara maheshtaya cha namaha Namo varshishthaya trinayanaya vishtaya cha namaha Nama sarvasmai te tadidamati sarvaya cha namaha. So here it says, O Priyadavaha Namaha, I Shiva, who loves to be in isolation, in seclusion, in smashana, salutation to you. Nedishtaya, Bhagwan, who is very najik, means very close. And Davishtaya, bahut dur bhi hai, one who thinks, one who is very far. For a Gnani who is one with the Lord, Bhagwan is very close. For an ignorant person who doesn't understand the Lord, Bhagwan is very far. That is how our Upanishads tell us. Smarahara Namaha, O Shiva, who is the destroyer of Kamadeva, I salute you. Shodishtaya cha Mahishtaya cha. Shodishtaya means Sukshma, he is very subtle, whereas Mahishtaya means Mahan, he is very vast, very, very expansive. In both this Swarupa, I bow down to you. Trinayana Namaha, O Shiva, who has the third eye, salutation to you. Varshishthaya, one who has spent so many years, who is very, very Vruddha, very, who is the senior most of everyone, and one who is Yavishtaya, one who is Yuvana, very, very young, always young. I bow down to you. Nama Sarvasmaite, I bow down to all your forms, Sarvaswarupa, Saguna Swarupa, Nirguna Swarupa, Tata Idam Iti Sarvaya cha Namaha, I bow down to all your Swarupa. Tat means the Paramatma Swarupa, and that is the Nirgun Swarupa. The Idam means what this, that something that we can see, that we can experience, that we can know. It is the Srushti Swarupa, that is the Jiva, and all the Jagata Swarupa, that is the Stula or the Saguna Swarupa of the Lord. So both the Niguna and the Sarguna Swarupa of the Lord, I namaskar, I bow down to all your Swarupa. That is what Pushpadantaji Maharaj says. And this is one of the ways that our Upanishads and our scriptures describe the Nirgun Tattva, by using contradictory words. Even in the Upanishads, the Ishavasya, Tad Dure, Tadvantike, so that is how we are so close, we are so far. And this is how it is described in other texts and other Upanishads also. So again, Pushpadantaji Maharaj continues his salutation, namaskar, all forms of the Lord, Sagun as well as Nirgun. He says, Bahula Rajase Vishwotpatto Bhavai Namo Namaha Prabalatamase Tatsamhare Haraya Namo Namaha Jana Sukha Krute Satvo Driktao Mrudai Namo Namaha Brahmahasi Pade Nistray Punyai Shivai Namo Namaha. Bahula Rajase. So when there is Vishwa Utpatti, while the universe is being created, Bhagavan assumes this form which is Bahula Rajase. There is a preponderance of Rajaguna, and this Swarupa of the Lord is called Bhava Swarupa, So he says, Bhavai Namo Namah, I bow down to this Bhava Swarupa of the Lord. While Tat Samhare, when there is the destruction of the universe, Prabala Tamase, there is a preponderance of the Tamasa Guna of the Lord. And this name of the Lord during this time is called Harai, Harai, Hara, Hara. And this Hara, Harai Namo Namah, I bow down to this Hara Swarupa of the Lord. And Sattvo Drikto Jana Sukha Krute, for while sustaining the universe, there is this Sattva Guna is preponderant, and this is to give Jana Sukha Krute, to give joy to all the beings. And this Swarupa of the Lord is called Mruda Swarupa. Mrudai Namo Namaha. I bow down to this Mruda Swarupa of the Lord while sustaining the universe, which gives joy to all the beings. And then also describes beyond these three guna, the Nirguna Swarupa of the Lord, Pramahasipade, that the Brahma Pada, that state that is worth knowing, that Gnan that is worth understanding, which is Nistrai Gunya, which is beyond these three gunas, which is the Nirguna Tattva, the Shiva Swarupa of the Lord. Shivai Namo Namah. I bow down to that Shiva Swarupa, the Tattvik Swarupa, the Tattva Swarupa, Shiva Tattva Swarupa of the Lord. And this is the way our scriptures, this is the method how it is described from Saguna going to Nirguna, and that is the Krama of the Shastra. That is, these are the steps in our scriptures described to understand when we go from the Saguna, Sakar Swarupa, devotion, bhakti, and then gradually we go to Sarvatra, Ashtamurti Darshana, and then finally going towards the Nirguna Swarupa. And that there is no contradiction between bhakti and Gnana. And this is what our Guruji also repeatedly describes, that bhakti and Gnana are not two different parts. Both are affiliated to each other. There is a krama between the two. Bhakti is essential because it causes Antakarana Shuddhi. It makes us eligible for the Tattva Gnana or the Atma Gnana, which is the ultimate goal. Bhakti is not the goal, it is the means to developing the goal, where Gnana means understanding our oneness with the Lord is the ultimate goal of this human existence. That is what our Shastras and our Upanishads described. Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Tattvam Asi. These are the final lakshya, these are the final goal that we have to go. That is only through the bhakti, devotion of the Lord, and going towards the Gnana. And then Pushpadanta Maharaj thinks, how could I sing a stuti like this? He shows his humility. He is very humble. Pushaparinati cheta kleshavashyam kvachedam vachatava gunasimo langhini shashvadruddhihi iti chakitamamandi krutyamam bhaktiradha varada charana yoste vakya pushpopaharam. So he says, where is my Prusha Parinati, my limited mind, intellect, Klesha Vashyam, which is filled with a lot of Pancha Klesha, all the 5 Klesha that is filled with ignorance. And Vachatava Guna Simolangini, where is your opulence, your Guna, which is beyond all the limits of time, space. Shashwaruddhihi, your opulence, your splendor is such. There is no comparison between my Jiva and Shiva, he says, from his Saguna Sakar Heda. He is saying now, Pushpatantaji Maharaj, Iti Chakita Mamandi Krityamam Bhakti Adhat. And I'm surprised and feeling low. Bhakti Adhat, your love and devotion could only make this stuti possible, which is only because of your prema, your love and devotion. I could make this. O Varada, O Shiva, Charanaya, Te Vakya Pushpopaharam. I surrender these words, the Shiva Mahimna Stuti, like a garland of flowers at your feet. This is how it shows the humility of Pushpatantaji Maharaj. And the next shloka, it talks about the endless Mahima of Shiva, Lord Shiva. Asita Giri Samansyat Kachalam Sindhu Patre Suratarovara Shakha Lekhani Patramurvi Likhati Yadi Gruhitva Sharada Sarvakalam Tadapi Tava Gunana Mishaparam Nayati. So he says Asitagiri, a black mountain, very big black mountain, Kajjala, Sindhu Patre, and you make an ink out of this large black mountain mixed with the ocean. So if you make an ink like this, Surataruvara Shakha, and make a pen out of the branch of Kalpa Vruksha, Lekhani Patra Murvim, and the paper out of Urvi. Urvi means earth. The entire earth becomes a paper. Likhati Yani Gruhitva Sharada Sarvakalam, and even if Devi Saraswati keeps on writing always, Sarvakalam, all the time, Tatape Api Tava Gunanam, even then they cannot describe your divine qualities, your Guna, Ishaparam Nayati, your nobody can go beyond understanding your reality. It says that's the endless Mahima of Lord Shiva, how he is describing. असुर सुर मुनीन्द्रैरर्चितै सेन्दु मौले ग्रथित गुण महिम्नो निर्गुणस्यैश्वरस्य सकल गुण वरिष्ठ पुष्पदन्ताभिधानः रुचिरमलतु वृत्तैः स्तोत्रमेतच्चकार. So in this shloka also it says how Hindu Maule, who has a moon in his hairlocks, is also called Chandrasekhara. Asura Sura Munindra Architaha, who is worshipped by all the demons, the devas and the munis. Grathita Guna Mahimna, your splendor which is well described in the scriptures, which is Nirguna as well as Ishwarasya, the Saguna forms, all these are very well described. All your Mahima is very well described in the scriptures. Sakal Guna Varishta Pushpadanta Vidhana, one who has bestowed with all the qualities created by Pushpadantaji. So this means that these shlokas are probably added later on, not written by Pushpadantaji Maharaj, because here it clearly says that this was bestowed with all qualities created by Pushpadantaji. He himself would probably not have written this. These last shlokas are probably added later on. Ruchiram Aladhu Vruttei Stotram. Shlokas are quite large. Aladhu Vruttei. Alagu means they are large shlokas. They are created. This beautiful stotra. And then it shows the benefits of the Falashruti of this stotra. Ahara hara navatyam durjate stotrametat Patati parama bhaktya shuddha chitta pumanya sabhavati shivaloke rudratulya stathatra prachuratara dhanayu putravan kirtimanscha. So this is what is the benefits of reciting this stotra. This stotra of Lord Shiva is without any blemish and it is according to the scriptures. Patati yadi param bhaktya shuddha chitta pumana. Any person who sings with a very pure mind, with utmost devotion, and sings the glory of Lord Shiva with the Shiv Mahima Stotra, Sabhavati Shiva Loke. He attains Shiva Loka and Rudra Tulya Tathatra. He lives there as Rudra, as a Shiva Swarupa, along with Shiva as one of his ganas. Prachuratara Dhana Ayu Putravan Kirtimansha. And also achieves in this, while he is living in this earth, he achieves wealth, longevity, Ayu, Putravan, he has sons, and his Kirtiman, he develops or has pure Yasha, fame also. Maheshana Paro Devo, Mahimno Na Parastutihi, Aghorana Paro Mantro, Nasti Tattvam Guru Param. There is no God or Lord greater than Mahesha. There is no Stuti greater than Shiva Mahim. There is no mantra greater than Aghora mantra. And there is no tattva greater than Guru. Dekshadanam tapastirtham gnanam yagadika kriyaha mahimna stava pathasya kalam narhanti shodashim. So diksha, renunciation, dana, donations, tapa, finance, tirtha, pilgrimage, gnana, knowledge, yagadika, all the yagnas and all the other kriya rituals. Nothing comes close to the recitation of Shiv Mahima Stotra, which has the highest benefit. And then the next shloka talks about again the story of this Pushpadanta Maharaj, how he created the Shiv Mahima, where we described this in the first session as the first shloka before we started the Stotra. Kusumadashana Nama Sarva Gandharva Raja Shashidhara Varamaulir Deva Devasya Dasah Sakhalu Nijamahimno Brashta Evasya Roshat Stavanamidamakanshir Divya Divyam Mahimnaha. So Pushpadantaji, Gandharva Maharaj Raja, who has created this stotra, is a servant of Lord Shiva, who possesses a crescent moon, Shashidhara Vara Maule, crescent moon in his hairlocks. Sakhalu Nijam Mahimno Brashta Evasya Roshat. He got vanished from his own status while he was stealing flowers from the Chitraratha king's garden, and to protect himself from the anger of the Lord, he created this divine stotra. That was the purpose of creating this stotra, that he wanted to protect himself because he had done this crime of stealing the flowers, and these two flowers were done for the Shiva Puja, but he thought that he has done a great crime, and to please the Lord he creates his divine stotra, the Shiv Mahima Stotra. And then benefits of Falashruti: Suravara Puri Munipujya Swarga Mokshaika Hetum पठति यदि मनुष्य प्राञ्जलिर्नान्यचेताः व्रजति शिव समीपं किन्नरैस्तूयमानः स्तवनमिदमिदममोघं पुष्पदन्त प्रणीतम्. So, who is the most respected of the Devatas and the cause of liberation, the moksha, that is the benefit of this stotra, Lord Shiva. Pathati yadi manusya pranjali anya chetaha. One who does this recitation of the shlok, of the stotra with pranjali, with folded hands, and with ananya cheta, with concentration, utmost devotion towards the Lord. Rajati Shiva samipam. He goes near Shiva after his death. Kinnare stuyamanaha. And while they are passing through this, going to the Shiva Loka, all the Kinnara Devtas, they do the stuti of this Jiva. Stavana idam amogham pushpadantam apreniyatam. There's such an unbelievable stuti has been sung by Pushpadanta Ji Maharaj and is very dear to him. Asamaptam idam stotram punyam gandharva bhashitam anaupamyam samanohari sarvamishwara varnanam. And this is the end of Sri Mahimna Stotra, created by the virtue of Gandharva Pushpadanta Ji Maharaj. It is anaupamyam. It is very noble and it is manohari. It is very beautiful when we recite it with understanding the meaning. Sarvam Ishvara Varnanam, where there is always a description of the Lord Shiva in all the forms of Lord Shiva. Ityesham Vangmayi Puja Srimad Shankara Padayoho Arpita Tena Devesha Priyatam Me Sada Shivaha. This is my worship with words in the lotus feet of the Lord Shiva, by surrender of which may Lord Shiva be happy. Tava Tattvam Na Janami Kidrishosi Maheshwara Yadrishosi Mahadeva Tadrashaya Namo Namaha. I don't know your true nature, O Lord Shiva, how you are, but O Mahadeva, as you are, Yadrishosi, as you are, I bow down to you, Namo Namaha. Tadrashaya, as you are, Mahadeva, O Mahadeva, please accept this. Ekakalam dvikalam va trikalam yah pathen naraha sarva papa vinurmukta shiva loke mahiyate. One who recites this stotra once, twice, or even thrice a day will be absolved from all the sarva papa vinurmukta, will absolve from all the sins and will attain Shiva loke mahiyate, will attain the Shiva loka salokya mukti. Finally, the last shloka, the Falashruti again. Shri Pushpadanta Mukha Pankaja Nirgatena Stotrena Kilbish Shaharena Harapriyena Kanthastitena Patitena Samahitena Suprinito Bhavati Bhutapati Maheshaha. This Shiva Mahimna Stotra, revealed from the lotus mouth of Pushpadanta Ji Maharaj, will destroy all the sins and impurities. If recited Kanthastitena Patitena, means if recited by heart with the concentration of our mind, senses, being one, Samahitena, being one with the Lord. If we can do this, then it can really give us a lot of benefit, and we will also make Lord of all the Lord Shiva, Mahadeva, happy. And this is ultimately what we want to endeavor. With this, we come to the end of the Shiva Mahimna Stotra. Iti Shri Pushpadanta Virachitam Shiva Mahimna Stotram Sampurnam. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namah Shivaya.